Hey YouTube, this is Matt, the lawn care little guy. I'm coming at you today in April in Oklahoma, and it was snowing. That's weird. Okay, usually in April, things are actually starting to get a little bit overgrown. Not that everything's perfectly awake, but things are usually growing pretty good. I was looking back at my mow count last year, and I did 50 lawns in March. I think I did like 10 lawns last month. So this weather is crazy. I'm telling you, this weather is crazy. We got ice and we got snow. It's freezing and it's April. So what I want to talk about today is that crazy weather. What do you do when you get that crazy weather? You didn't necessarily expect it. Like, you knew it was coming because the weatherman told you, but you didn't really, like, your guy's kind of waiting and seeing what's happening because you want to go out there and work, right? So you take work, you start building up your work, and the next thing you know, you can't do the work that you already planned to do, that you scheduled to do. So what do you do when that happens? And we all run into it. And the longer you've been in this business, the easier it is to handle that, I think. As a lot of you guys know, I'm only about 4 seasons into it, okay? This is my 4th season. But I learned pretty quick in my first season, because the first season, it like rained nonstop. Like, it wasn't cold or nothing, but it just rained nonstop. I mean, we're always in a drought in Oklahoma, okay? But we came out of the drought that year, and I was freaking out, right? Because my wife quit work. I needed to make some money. The dollar was like really powerful to me, right? And I didn't really know how to handle that when I couldn't go out there and work, and it just rained, and the next day it rained, and you gotta let it dry out. And you're going out there when you finally do get to put a mower on some lawn, but you gotta weed eat part of it, half your lawn, because you got standing water out in that grass. So that first year, I can't say I handled it that well, and I had a lot of stress. And like I said, the longer you're in it, you know, it kind of gets to not phase you because you know how to handle it. So I want to encourage the guys that are maybe in their first, second season, and they're still struggling with that don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry about it. It's not worth worrying about it. There's nothing you can do about it. That's out of your control, okay? So don't stress about it. Don't let that affect your mind. Don't let that affect your mood. For you guys that have families and kids, all that stuff plays out in your family. You know, when you're feeling stress, if you don't control it well, and not let your stress control you, or if you let your stress control you, then that flows into a lot of parts of your life, and it can really have a negative effect. You don't want to do that. And the lawn freak, Greg Chisholm, the lawn freak, Geek to Freak, he was really encouraging. He was really critical, at least to my time when I was first starting, because he was encouraging. He let you know that everything was okay. So that's kind of what I want to do today, is just let everybody know that even though really a lot of the country is kind of experiencing kind of this weird weather, don't let it stress you out. Don't let it freak you out. So what do I do? What do I do about that when it snows and it rains and times you don't, you know that you really want to be out there working? Well, the first thing I do is I resist the temptation to go and do the work when I know I shouldn't be doing the work. The example is like when the ground is still pretty wet, even though it's not raining at that moment, it may not be a good idea to go out there and put your 0 turnout on that. You know, it might even be a bad idea to even put your 21 on it. So don't do that. Resist the urge to go out there and mow grass when you're not supposed to. And if I could be perfectly honest, a lot of my customers that actually care about their lawn, that's their number one pet peeve is when you're out there because you're scared of losing money, and you go out there and you rut up their lawn and run mud stripes everywhere across their driveway, on their sidewalk, and all that stuff. So just resist that. Don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. It'll come back around. Your customers will appreciate it. And in the end, you might do more damage than good. So resist the urge to go out there, okay? The second thing is communicate. Communicate with your customers, okay? Because I've found a lot of times when I haven't communicated properly, it kind of leaves them wondering, are they coming? Are they not coming? Should I assume that they're not coming because it's raining or snowing or whatever it is? And maybe that is a safe assumption, but communicate with them anyway. Give them a call. Let them know what your plan is going forward. When can they expect you? Because for a lot of you guys like me, they're going to be leaving the money for you, right? Just on the chance that you're going to show up, and they might be a little nervous about leaving the cash under the mat or the check taped to the back door. So they just want to know. They want to know what they can expect from you. So the number two, and that might even be competitive with number one, is make sure you communicate with your customer what your plan is. Okay? And I'm running into this with flower beds because I decided that I don't really like even just doing mulch and clean outs when the ground is too wet because it gets muddy. Where I'm at, there's a lot of clay and it's really nasty to deal with all that. So I like to let it dry out and soak in a little bit, okay? So I'm putting off my flower beds, but even more than that is planting. A lot of the folks that want flower beds, that want me to do the flower beds for them, they also want planting. Well, the temperature has been unusually low. We've had some high times, but the average temperature, and more specifically the ground temperature, has not warmed up enough to where I can guarantee that those plants are going to be successful. Okay, so I'm having to put a lot of that work off. So what I'm doing is I'm not freaking out, and I'm communicating with my customers to make sure that they know what my plan is. They usually don't mind pushing it off because they want things to succeed. They want things to be nice and pretty. They don't want mud stripes across their driveway, all that stuff, right? Even seed, right? Seed is another thing where the ground temperature has to be high enough. So things that I thought I was going to be doing this month, I just got to put off. And you know what? Whatever. It's going to get done. Am I going to have to work some days that I didn't plan on working? Yeah, I'm going to have to do that, but that's okay. That's okay. And you know what? That's kind of the two basic things that I do. And it's pretty simple. Just don't freak out. The work will get done. You'll do it. You got a whole season to do that work, right? And then communicate with your customer. They'll appreciate it. The other thing with that is my wife, right? Because I talk about a lot where I can't do this business without the support of my wife. And she made a comment the other day that because I've been out working, doing some other projects. I did a fence. I think I talked about that a little bit. I need to get pictures up on that. But I did a fence, and I've been doing all this other extra work where the weather hasn't really been all that much of, doesn't really affect that too much. And I haven't been home, or I've been getting home later. And my wife had actually made a comment the other day. She says, now that you're busier, she's like, I kind of got spoiled with you being home. And I can tell it's really starting to get to be that time where I'm not going to, have as much help as I normally would. So that's another thing with the weather. And that's an opportunity that you can actually invest back into your family and in the things, like if you're not going to, go out and do some work. I mean, you can do maintenance on your mowers. That's a great time. That's a great thing to do too. And I'm going to be doing that as well. Making sure all those blades are nice and sharp and oil's changed. Maybe, maybe you need to put that mulch kit on your mower that you've just been putting off. You just don't have the time to do that. Who knows? There's all kinds of stuff to do that. But something I'm really going to be focusing on anytime the weather gets bad, and we're going into our rainy season, tornado season and all that, is I need to reinvest that time in my family because I have to support them as they support me. And she even mentioned it the other day that she's really feeling it right now that I'm not there very much in the evening time when she needs help around dinner time, keep the kids occupied. My kids need me. And by the way, my girl, she got 2 tallies at school, and I got a sneaky feeling that the amount of time that I'm spending engaging her is part of the reason for that. So I need to reinvest back into my family, and I'm going to take that opportunity. And I encourage you guys to do that too. Remember what supports what. Make sure your priorities are in line. So for me, it's God, family, and then lawn care. And I think at a time I said my 40-hour actually goes a little bit above lawn care because that's really what's putting the food on my table. But the lawn care is what's allowing my kids to go to private school and achieve some of our personal goals that are real legitimate choices and not requirements. Like food's a requirement, private school's a choice. Just the way it is. So keep your priorities straight. Don't freak out. Communicate with your customers and take care of yourself and your family. So I hope this is helpful for you guys who are experiencing some of this really weird weather this year. I hope that you're blessed. I hope that everything's going well. I hope you're excited about this season of lawn care. So push through, persevere, stay encouraged. Lord bless. Comment, subscribe, share, everything. Peace out. Long care, little guy. Love you guys.